Well, hello, I guess, and welcome back to the d-fiant YouTube channel. I've got the window banner now, as you can see, so it's official, if that's what you want to call it. Bit of a shorter one for you today. I've booked another drift day. It's about a month or so away, so I figured I'd go through the car and explain to you how I'd prep the car for a drift day, usually. So, yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to do today, so we'll just crack straight into it. So, my usual strategy for this would be to about a month before, or obviously if I book at short notice, whenever I book it, will be to have a quick look around the car, find out if there's anything big to fix, which I've already done previous to this, but I figured what I should do is show you guys how I do it normally. So this is as if I haven't looked over the car at all. This is my initial month before, check the car over and see what big things need doing. So what we're going to do, I'll go through, show you each individual thing of what I'd usually check on this particular car, because obviously all cars are different. This, to people that are in this scene, is going to come across like it's just obvious, but I mean, I think there is a few people out there that don't know actually what to look for and what to check, so hopefully this is helpful. If it's not and I'm just wasting my time, thank you for watching anyway, I guess. So what we'll do, first of all, front wheels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the play from side to side and up and down. So basically, I'd grab the wheel and I'd check it for play. Now, as you can see, this has a good 10 to 15 mil of play in it, which obviously is not good. And what that is, drop the camera and show you, is under here, this ball joint here. As I said in the previous videos, I tend to go through a lot of these. Now, everyone says buy more expensive ones, you know, try and stick to Toyota manufactured ones, but unfortunately, I am going to try that just to see if it helps. But I think because of the angle it's on, you'll have a better idea when we take the wheel off and send the car up in the air when I do them in a bit. I think it's more the angle of the ball joint and what it's on that's destroying them. I do have a tie rod boot that's split, so no doubt that'll need changing shortly. Now, a lot of people are going to say, when I check the play in this, am I sure it's not these that are moving? Yes, I'm 100% sure it's not them. It is this that's gone. But the other side's the same, so I'm not going to show you that. So the only thing that needs changing on the front up to now are the two lower ball joints. That's pretty much it that I've found. The brakes are good, everything else is good. Now we're going to move on to the back of the car. So I'll quickly send the car up and I'll show you what I check on the back. Right, so with these, there should be no play really side to side and none up and down. However, diagonally, so if you can imagine the wheel pivoting like that, the top arm design does allow for that to happen. It's very hard to show you on this ramp, but the bottom will stay in its same place because of where the bolt goes through. The top, however, does move a little bit. Now, when the car's on the floor, to my knowledge, that doesn't happen. Somebody feel free to correct me, but I'm pretty sure that that is okay for it to do that. It's probably very hard to see on camera. It is very minimal. This has always done it. Whether it's meant to do it, I'm not sure. But because the car's off the floor, I think the top arm, because it's on a ball and the bottom one's on a big long bolt, it lets the top flex slightly. So I think that's why it does it. The other side's exactly the same. It's done it ever since I've bought the car. So if yours is doing it, I don't worry about it personally. You know, people can choose to do what they want, but to me, that's fine. So what I'll do now is I'll send the car up and I'll show you what I normally check underneath the car. Right, so car's in the air. This is what I do, you know, a day before, 2 days before the drift day, just the final check over. I'm just going to walk you through what I do with the car. So, E9X, E8X, so anything 1 series or 3 series of this year, I check the drive shaft bolts, because it doesn't matter what you seem to do with them, they always come loose. They're very, very common. I'll check the exhaust mounts, because mine are very janky, as you can see, made by myself. So I just make sure that that's properly attached. It's hitting the subframe here, I've just noticed actually. So that's something that needs to be addressed. But again, it's good to notice that now, whilst it's early. The toe arms, again, shouldn't be any play in these when we're checking the wheels. The other thing, obviously, these don't very often come loose. However, I have had it. Just to be clear, obviously I haven't mentioned it whilst recording this, but here I'm referring to the inner rack arm where it actually tightens onto the rack. I have had them come loose in the past. I'm not on about the, you know, rack arm gaiter. I don't know why I'm pointing at the rack arm gaiter. I don't know why I didn't mention it, but yes, I'm on about the rack arm where it screws into the rack underneath the rubber gator. So it's one of them, whether you check them, I probably should. I'm not going to, mainly because I can't be bothered right now. The day before, 2 days before, I probably will check them because I have had them come loose before. And the other things to check are just the adapter bolts that bolt the plate to the hub. Probably just check them as well because, well, they sketch me out a little bit if I'm honest. But they've never come loose, but I still check them every time. But back under the car, pretty much that's it, other than the play and the drive shafts, because the drive shafts, as I said, I've had countless issues with. The other main thing I'd watch is I run, for the people that watched the last video, no arch liners. So you can see the bottom of my factory airbox there. I was running a cone filter on the last drift day. The cone filter was absolutely caked in dirt and all kinds of other debris. This is before I'd even started driving. Now, I didn't even bother to check it because you know what cone filters are like, they look red, they look okay. It was so severely blocked, it was actually creating a pretty serious power issue. The car felt really sluggish. I put the factory box on the day after and it was like a completely brand new car. It come on to boost far faster as well. It might sound stupid, it might sound like I'm being, you know, exaggerating it. It genuinely was really bad. Again, that's due to me being an idiot. But yeah, if you do run a cone filter, check your cone filters, make sure they're not absolutely caked, especially if you run no arch liners like me. Not that many people do, it's worth saying anyway. I'm not going to go into showing you how to check your oil and checking your coolant. This might seem obvious to people. I'm assuming to some people it's probably not. So just, yeah, check your coolant, check your oil. Other than that, that's pretty much it. It's really not difficult. So my next job now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the car down and I'm going to work on changing these. Now, I'm not going to film the whole thing. I'm just going to pop my phone up on a time lapse and I'm going to make me swearing for 4 hours turn into 15 seconds of video footage, hopefully. Or at least that's the plan. Fitted the new lower ball joints. Now what I did this time, instead of messing around, was I just chopped the old one off and then I clearanced the hub a little bit, because unfortunately they're very sort of temperamental. You have to put them in and screw the nut on a little bit because there's not really enough room between the hub and the nut, like on a factory knuckle. So I've just die-grinded that back a little bit in there now so I can get, you know, screw it on, screw it off easy. So if anyone's running this kit, top tip for you there, I guess. It just makes it easier than messing about with it. But that's one side done. I think it took me about, 15-20 minutes. Obviously cutting it off makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, that's that side done. Now I'm on to the other side. Right, the ball joints are done, as you've just seen in the time lapses. So the front end of the car is now completely sorted. I've checked the play already off camera. I'm not going to start pinning the phone up again to see, but there's absolutely no play in it now. It's perfect on this side. This side still has a tiny bit, mainly because the other side has recently had a inner tie rod. This side hasn't. This side is due one. I should have changed them both at the same time, ideally, but it's very, very, very minor. It's not enough for me to worry about. Right, so that was the basic summary of what I checked. Obviously, you've heard me say, I'm just waffling at this point. I'm so tired. I'm just going to let the car down now, put the tracking gauges on. Obviously, this should be done on the wobbly plates over there. I can't be bothered moving the van. I normally do it on the floor, at the track, or wherever I am anyway. So I'm just going to let it down, put the alignment gauges on, and give the car just a quick basic alignment. I'll straighten it up tomorrow on there when I've got some time. But right now, I just want to make sure it's got zero toe so I can drive home and it not destroy what's left of the front tyres. for me, the toe is pretty much as close to 0 as I want it to be. It was closer than that a second ago, which is strange. Oh, the gauge has moved, the car's rolled. That makes sense. Unfortunately, when the car rolls, it moves the line. I'm not sure if you can see, but yeah, because the gauge is now not level, they're reading weird, but they are bang on 0. I'll reset it now and show you again. I'll chock the wheel first though. So I've chopped the wheel and re-leveled it, and as you can see, it's very, very close to 0, to the point where I'm not even going to bother adjusting that, because for me to drive home, that's perfectly fine. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's how I prep my car for a drift day. Obviously do it month before, get the major stuff out of the way, you know, 2-3 days before, check the other bits are showing your drive shafts, etc, etc. But that's not really anything else to add to that, so I guess we'll just see you on the next one. Goodbye.